Hello and welcome to We Learn, Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 21 of the subject Modern Indian Political Thought, and the chapter is Gandhian Social Reform, Bhoodan Movement. Let's see the topics to be covered. Introduction, concept of constructive program, concept of Sarvodaya, Bhoodan Movement, limitations of the movement. The introduction: Gandhi is an original thinker of India. Gandhi is thinking of spouse maturity in the process of the evolutions of his political career. His South African experience adds a moral dimension to his thinking. So whatever years he spent in South Africa, that adds a moral dimension, that adds a ethical aspect to his thinking and outlook. He opposed the racialism imposed by the white minority on a moral plane. He opposed the racialism which was imposed by the Britishers on the Indians, saying that the whites were superior than the blacks. So he opposed that. He got the support of all classes and castes from the Indian community. So when he came to the forefront, making people aware, so he got the support of every class, caste and community. Gandhian moral tone has a political meaning. So whatever moral tone he had, that again had a political meaning and a political outlook attached to it. He could create an imagined community in South Africa despite their caste and class differences. So he created a community which was free of caste and class biases. Concept of constructive program. Gandhi experimented with his constructive program at the time of the non-cooperation movement in 1921. Gandhi wanted that the Congress accept his program, and not only then was he inclined to launch the mass movement. Involvement in the social reconstruction program would help an ordinary Congress worker to keep in touch with the ground reality. So he basically experimented with his constructive program at the time of the non-cooperation movement, and he wanted that everyone to participate in his movement. He wanted the mass involvement. He wanted the mass movement. So he involved himself in the social reconstruction program, and which would help a common man, which would help an ordinary Congress worker also to keep in touch with whatever is happening at the ground level, whatever is happening at the grassroots level. So he involved himself in the social reconstruction program. The Congress party accepted Gandhi's social reconstruction program as their program. So the Congress party accepted whatever Gandhi said, that to reconstruct the society or to reconstruct the societal elements, and the Congress party accepted the Gandhi social reconstruction program as their program only, in which changes will be introduced but through petitions and movements. Non-cooperation movement was launched at the time when Indian society was confronted with a lot of social turmoil. When there was a lot of social disturbances, when there were a lot of disturbances or problems happening at that time non-cooperation movement was launched. They would not participate, they would not cooperate with the government because of their oppressive and unfair policies on the Indians. So non-cooperation movement was launched when there was a lot of social disturbances and the policies of the government were repressive and unfair. Concept of Sarvodaya. The social base of the non-cooperation movement was reasonably different from that of the civil disobedience movement. So the social base, more and more backward castes went into the vortex of mass politics. So into mass politics, more backward castes and more oppressed classes which were not given the chance to come and participate, they were given the chance to come and participate into the mass politics. And also the non-cooperation movement was reasonably different. Non-cooperation meant that the people or the masses would not cooperate with the government because of their oppressive policies, and the civil disobedience movement said that they would disobey every policy, or they would disobey every law or the policy which was launched by the government, means they would not obey with it and they would be against that. The 1942 movement is a step ahead in the history of mass politics. Backward castes and rural masses remain active in the 1942 movement. So backward castes, the oppressed classes and the rural masses were involved, and they were made active in the 1942 movement because it was made clear to them that it was their movement, it was the movement for their upliftment and their economic as well as social as well as political upliftment. the radicalization of mass politics, Gandhi's own ideas got radicalized. He started building his own vision about future India. When the radicalization, when changes happened in mass politics, Gandhi's own ideas, it also got a lot of changes, it also got a lot of modifications, and he started building his vision that how would the future India would look like, what will be the changes, what will be the ideas, and what would be the picture of the future India. Concept of Sarvodaya. Meaning of Sarvodaya. Here one has to explain in some detail the concept of Sarvodaya, which has economic and political dimensions. Gandhi evolved a concept of trusteeship in economics. He evolved a concept of trusteeship in economics, which said that the people would be trustees of their land, the people would be trustees, and whatever capital, the rich, that which they had a lot of capital, they would share their capital, they would share their wealth, their money with the poor classes or with the people who did not have money at that time. And there would be Sarvodaya, there would be equal treatment for everyone, there would be equality, and there would be fair treatment for everyone. Everyone would be given the fruits of their labor, and everyone has the right to earn their bread and butter too by doing hard work and by doing their proper labor. Role of technology. Gandhi's economic thought has a technological dimension. The technological level of a society has a close relationship with the economic growth of a society, which provides full employment. In the name of advancing technology, one cannot create unemployment. So when the technology comes, or when a new technology comes in the picture, one cannot snatch jobs from the people, one cannot create unemployment. The technological level of a society, or the basis of the technology, that how the technology moves or how the technology develops in a society, that also has a close relationship with the economic growth of the society, and that growth should provide full employment to the people. Means people should be employed, they should be given jobs, they should be given employment, and the technological level means there should be technological advancement in the society. Only then the society can grow, which is what Gandhi said. Only then the society can grow. But in the name of advancing technology, one cannot snatch jobs from the people, one cannot create unemployment in the society, because that will be unfair to the people who are working hard or who are giving their labor. Concept of rural development. Gandhi's economic thought is related largely to rural development. So his economic thought basically says that rural development should be there, and that should be developed economically as well. There should be more wealth created to the farmers, and so that they are able to earn their livelihood, and they are able to meet their day's ends. According to him, village society was the soul of India. Industrialization and urbanization should not destroy the village economy. So villagers, the village community, the village society, according to him, was the soul, was the heart of India, because from there only, from farming only, lot of facilities, fruits, crops, vegetables came, and the farmer earned his livelihood or earned his living through lot of labor and through farming and through lot of hard work. Industrialization, when lot of industries are set up, or when urbanization takes place, when a lot of houses or township is developed, that should not destroy the village economy, that should not destroy the farming, that should not destroy the way village economy operates, but they should be grown economically, they should be given wealth to meet their day's ends, to meet their needs, whatever they want. Vinobha's concept of Sarvodaya. Vinoba Bhave developed Gandhi's economic thought in a more practical sense. Vinoba Bhave was concerned about creating a Sarvodaya society in rural India. So Vinoba Bhave was concerned about creating a Sarvodaya society, where the Sarvodaya society would be there, where the benefit of everyone should be there, and it should be there in rural India as well, in the farming and in the agricultural sector. This could not be based on unequal distribution of land. Means there should be no gap between the rich and the poor. There should be no unequal or unjust distribution of land or the money. A fair and equal distribution of land and money between people should be there, so that everyone is able to earn their livelihood and meet their needs and meet their ends. So there should be equal distribution of land and the property between the farmers of the rural area. Bhoodan Movement. The leadership of the Bhoodan movement fell on Vinoba Bhave, who was taken by people as a saint. So the Bhoodan movement leadership fell on Vinoba Bhave, whom people considered as a saint, whom people considered as a person who was sent for their growth and who was sent to help them. He moved from village to village and propagated the gospels of Sarvodaya. So he moved from one place to another and he propagated the gospels and the teachings of Sarvodaya, what Sarvodaya was all about. The movement started in 1951 when Telangana peasant movement on the land question reached peak. So this movement started in 1951 when Telangana peasant movement, when peasants were asking about their land, when peasants were asking about their share of land and also about their wealth from the government, because and that point of time the movement reached its peak. It was a violent struggle launched by poor peasants against the local landlords. The local landlords, the money lenders, the zamindars took their land by deceiving them, and they also took their money and they did not give their land back. So they were frustrated and they launched a violent struggle against their local landlords who took their money and lands. So poor peasants launched a violent struggle against them to take their land back from them. Vinoba looked into the problem and came out with a novel solution. The landlord's voluntary gift of land would help in solving the problems of landlessness in India. Means the landlord's voluntary gift of land. When the landlord would give the land to the peasants from their own will, that would help in solving the problems of absenteeship or the landlessness in India. Concept of Gram Dan. The initial objective of the movement was to secure voluntary donations of land and distribute it to the landless. It was basically to secure voluntary donations, to take donations from the people by their will and to distribute that land to the people who did not have the land, who were landless. However, the movement soon came out with a demand for 116th share of land from all landowners. So this was a demand from the all landowners. Role of village panchayat. The Gram Sabha plays a crucial role in the Gram Dan villages. This is a part of Gandhi's political planning for reconstructing the village society. That village panchayat should be the nucleus of Indian democracy. So this is what Gandhi says, that Gram Sabha plays an important part of political planning, the Gram Sabha, and for reconstructing the village society, and that the village panchayat should be the center, should be the nucleus of Indian democracy. The village panchayats, they had to be given great power, they had to be also given funds to operate on their level and to take decisions for the welfare of the people at the grassroots level, and to solve the problems of the village community, because state cannot reach over there at every point of time. So village panchayats have to be made strong and they should solve the problems at the grassroots level, so that whatever the problems people are facing, they are able to address them. So that has to be the center of Indian democracy. Contribution of JP. Jayaprakash Narayan's joining with the Bhoodan movement gave a momentum to it. JP was a hero of the 1942 movement who had an all-India image because he was a leader of the Socialist Party. Jayaprakash was a leader of the Socialist Party, that is why he also contributed a lot to the 1942 movement and he was considered a hero. Role of private property. The Bhoodan movement touched the most sensitive institution of private property and the need for its redistribution. Property in the form of land got questioned by the movement, but the private property that has to be redistributed for fair treatment and for giving equal treatment to all the people concerned, and to also make it possible for the people who are not having land to give them land. That land is a gift of God and it should be utilized by all living beings became a common thinking in the Sarvodaya circle. That land is a gift of God and it should be the right of all the living beings. It should be given to all living beings, and that is the common thinking in the Sarvodaya circle. Role of organization. On the level of organization, the Sarva Seva Sangh was the highest body in the Bhoodan movement. Those who were associated with various constructive work organizations inspired and initiated by Gandhi formed themselves into an organization which has come to be known as the Sarv Seva Sangh. This organization was basically inspired by the Gandhi's ideas, and they formed itself into an organization which was known as Sarv Seva Sangh for the welfare of the people. Sarv Seva Sangh was described by Vinoba as an all India institution of experts for planning and executing programs. So basically it was an all India institution where experts were there for planning and executing different programs and policies which were for the welfare of the people. Limitations of the movement. Moreover, the movement was inspired by the Gandhian workers under the leadership of Vinoba Bhave and JP. So it was not considered that much effective. They did not strengthen the organization. In early 1970s, when there was conflict between Vinoba and JP, the Sarv Seva Sangh split vertically. So when conflict happened, when disunity happened between Vinoba and JP, the Seva Sangh split vertically. It was split. Moreover, that idealism could not sustain for a long period. Also, organizationally, it remained an authoritarian structure. It remained an authoritarian structure where people were not allowed to give their views and opinions. So it remained an authoritarian structure on the people. And that idealism could not be sustained for a long time. There was hardly any democratic discussion within the organization on the issues affecting the organization. So the issues and the problems which are affecting the organization, there was no democratic discussion. People were not willing, or people were not given the chance to come forward and discuss their problems and issues with them. So that was all about the session wherein Gandhi's ideas, the Bhoodan movement, all this was covered, where the limitations of the Bhoodan movement was covered and the Gandhi's ideas and ideology was covered. These are some of the questions. You have to do it yourself. Question number 1, what do you know of Gandhi's social reconstruction program? Question number 2, how did the Bhoodan movement come about? Thank you. Happy learning. We learning.